After 7 years of silence, I flew home for my mom's birthday. My family barely looked up. My sister said, "Still broke, still alone, still pointless." Mom laughed into her whine. I smiled and parked my car where they could all see it. Minutes later, their faces changed at what I had driven home. I left at 23 with $60, a duffel bag, and a voicemail from my dad I've never deleted. He said, and I'm quoting, "You don't have what it takes. You never did. Don't come back expecting anything from us." I was loading the last of my boxes into a 2003 Civic with a cracked rear bumper. I didn't respond. I just pulled out of the driveway and drove. My sister Carla was on the porch. She didn't wave, just stood there, arms crossed, wearing the expression she always wore when she thought she'd already won something. The thing about my family is they weren't cruel in the loud way. They were cruel in the quiet, consistent way that's harder to explain. Nothing was ever said once. Everything was said 100 times until it became the weather. You're not practical. You think too big. You've always been the difficult one. Not dramatic, just erosion. 7 years of it, and I was getting thinner at the edges. So I left, and I built something. Not overnight. I slept on an air mattress in Phoenix for 14 months. Worked at a shipping warehouse 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Studied for my real estate license in the afternoon until I fell asleep at the desk. Failed the exam the first time, passed by 4 points the second. Got my first listing through a guy I met unloading freight who needed to sell his mother's house fast. That was the beginning. 7 years later, I owned a dealership. Not working at one. Owning one. 62 employees. 11 acres of lot. A sign on Route 9 people drive past every day without thinking about who owns it. I thought about who owned it every single morning. My aunt called in March. Mom was turning 60. Big party. Whole family. I thought about it for 2 weeks. Almost didn't go. Then thought about that voicemail and booked the flight. I drove my own car. Black G-Wagon. Current year. The kind that doesn't announce itself. It just sits there being exactly what it is. Pulled up at 2 in the afternoon. Backyard catered. White tablecloths. About 40 people I have recognized. I parked at the end of the driveway where it meets the road. Right where everyone would have to walk past to leave. There just wasn't anywhere else. Nobody looked up when I came through the gate. My mom saw me. I know because she paused mid-sentence for exactly 1 second, adjusted her grip on her wine glass, and kept talking. That was the welcome home. I stood near the food table, second bread roll in hand, when Carla appeared with 2 women I didn't know. "You actually came," she said. One of them asked what I did. Before I could answer, Carla cut in with that right formative voice. Still broke, still alone, still pointless. Said it like a punchline, like 7 years hadn't happened. The 2 women half smiled, not sure if they were allowed to laugh. Across the yard, my mom heard it. She looked over, lifted her glass, and laughed into her wine. I smiled, put down the bread roll, walked away. I don't perform for people who've already written the ending. The party went on. My dad found me near the back fence, and we had 4 minutes of conversation that contained 0 real words. He's gotten older. That surprised me more than I expected. Then my uncle made his way to the front of the house and stopped dead at the end of the driveway. I watched from 30 feet away as he circled the G-Wagon. Came back loud enough for the patio to hear. "Whose car is that at the end of the drive?" Nobody answered. My dad wandered down to look, leaned in through the window the way he used to at dealerships when I was a kid. Then he went still, straightened up, walked back and looked at me across the yard. The energy shifted in about 30 seconds. Not loudly, just a quiet recalibration, like when the temperature drops 2 degrees and you can't explain how you know. Carla was beside me inside a minute. The cheerful voice was gone. "That's your car?" "Yes. You bought that?" "No," I said. "I own the dealership." She stared. My mom had drifted over, wine glass still in hand. The laugh from earlier, gone. I didn't explain myself, didn't list the years, or the warehouse shifts, or the 14 months on an air mattress. The registration in that window said everything the voicemail had tried to erase. My dad found me before I left, started to say something. I let him get 3 words out, then reached into my jacket, pulled out a business card, and put it in his hand. I charge for consultations now. I hugged my mom, said goodbye to my aunt, and walked down the driveway past 40 people who had spent the afternoon watching a story rewrite itself. 7 years, $60, 1 voicemail I still haven't deleted. I think I'll keep it a little longer. Full story on the channel, linked below.